Okay, hello, welcome. Let's have a great stream to start off with. Welcome. Sure, music is not louder than I am. If my mic is not loud enough, please let me know, or if it's too loud. I want to make sure I have this filter setting for whenever I actually do the sit-down recordings of Pokemon Prospect. So there's less like background noise and everything like that. I hope that like the open to close threshold is good for streaming live, because like I said, recording and live streaming is very different. Obviously, I'm not like as close up to the monitor and mic and everything. So if you can hear me, please let me know. I'm trying to get chat to pop up on stream here. King Aiden 2025, I have a question. Go ahead, go right ahead. We are now ready to go ahead with all questions, all, Pokemon Prospect related or not. Happy to give any updates on anything you guys are looking at. As you can tell, I've recently just moved. I've gotten into a new apartment with my girlfriend. So, congrats to you, boy. Still working on decorations, but we've got the Snorlax beanbag chair. I didn't have enough stuffing for his head to fill up, but yeah, we're settling in here. We just got a new TV for the living room today. Actually just looked at a new sectional couch to put out there as well. So things are going good. Just been, me and the missus have been busy with work lately, so yeah. We're gonna finally get some work done on writing, and I wanted to get some questions out of the way if you guys had any from this point up to the series leading up to the end of part 6. So why is the gym leader from Ruby traveling with him? And is it going to be an Ash thing where he travels from region to region? So Brawly is not a character that is fleshed out, obviously, as Brock and Misty are in the anime. Brock and Misty, obviously, they traveled with Ash all through Johto and all through Kanto. And Brock stayed around, up till the end of Sinnoh. So he was a very well fleshed out character. Brawly, if you actually look at like some of his Bulbapedia stuff, his information, the reason why he is in Kanto, is a Hoenn gym leader, is that he actually has a small little piece of dialogue. I think it's in the fame checker of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. But it is said that Bruno and Brawly have actually trained together in one of the Sevi Islands in Fire Red, which is pretty cool if you ask me. I really think that's a cool little, like, just collaboration between Hoenn and Kanto when, they were in the same, when the remake came out right after Gen 3 came out. I think that's really, obviously, with the correlation of those two having, the fighting type specialist. I thought it was a cool way to introduce someone different. I didn't want to bring just the same protagonist as the regular Pokemon anime. Just having Kanto gym leaders travel with Kanto characters and stuff. But as time goes on, Brawly will become a more fleshed out character. But right now is like, I see Brawly right now as a, like, he's a gym leader, yes, but he's going on travels right now to kind of obviously raise his Pokemon better, become a better gym leader, and then when he comes back, he will be at what I think would be. And obviously, he's got this goal of trying to defeat Bruno, one of the Elite Four, and yeah. Basically, that's it for Brawly. Brawly will have many appearances in Pokemon Prospect. I'm very excited. I have lots of plans with Johto. Not too much with Johto. Not too much he'll have in Johto. But in Hoenn, obviously, he's going to have a major role that will correlate very well with the Kanto series here. And I'm very excited for that. Obviously, it's going to be a long time before we get to Hoenn, because obviously we have all of Johto to get through. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have a lot of writing done for... I have basically a whole doc of where I want these characters to go in future regions. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, there we go. So my chats are starting to come up. My chat just popped up there. I don't know why. I don't know. It's a weird thing with like the stream key and getting your actual chats to pop up, but precious. I might just let it go. Figure out off stream what I need to do. This is my first time trying to get stream chats to pop up on the left side of the screen here. Ace's new design looks sick. Thank you for noticing. I will shout out Legacy once again for that. He has been so much help in this series. He's actually working on some new artwork for me right now, and I'm looking forward to. He's helped me with so much, literally from obviously Hunter's design to Kale's, Ace's, Arum's. I don't think we're gonna do a redesign for Brawly just because there's already a good Oras redesign for him that I could use, but also his character is okay, and he's not a massive character like how Arum, Kale, and Hunter are. So, I don't know. And the same for Hayasaka. Hayasaka's kind of like a side rival compared to Ace. So, that's why I'm not really going for any redesigns there. I'll just throw that out there now. But, yeah, Ace has a nice tan to him now. He doesn't look, you know, like an absolute incel, looking like he never got any sun in his life. But, yeah, I like the new look for Ace. Made sure to give him the shades. Obviously, we'll have the full fit reveal because the lower fit shoes, the shoes are very, very cool. I love how he went through with the shoes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The next Pokemon Prospect part, I will reveal that Ace does return. Ace returns in the next part. What I mean by is the Ash by traveling by region. Oh yes, my character will be traveling from region to region, just like Ash will. So I really don't want to go the exact order. You know, like Kanto, Johto, Hoenn. I don't want to go in that exact same order. I'm just for the chats. I'll just have it pop. But obviously, all right, excellent. I'll be traveling region to region. Johto is next because I think it is a direct sequel to Kanto, and everything in Kanto will end up leading into Johto, and kind of like how the original series is, Kanto and Johto will be kind of like a mixed thing, to where it'll wrap up like the first era of Pokemon Prospect, if that makes sense. But yeah, and then I think Hoenn would come after that. I don't know. It's the way I have the story built is that obviously it goes in the main generational, and I want to kind of change it before I get to the next regions. Like, I'd like to throw Unova in before, like, Sinnoh. I don't know. The problem is I've made such, I know all the Pokemon I'm going to be catching and everything like that. Why is Gligar in the series if he's Gen 4? Gligar is not Gen 4. Gliscor is, but Gligar is actually Gen 2. Kale's backstory, Kale actually comes from Hoenn, which is crazy enough, and his partner's Gligar. You will see why he has Gligar sometime. I'm trying to figure out when I want to dig into backstories here, because obviously we're building up a big plot for Kanto itself. And kind of throwing backstories in the mix of it is going to be a little tough. Arum worked out good because her backstory with Lavender Town came in when we got to Lavender Town. So it made sense. Now, I'm going to obviously make sure to get the other backstories in before we get to that city where they come from or whatever. So, like, Brawly and Kale's backstories aren't going to come, you know, when we get to the city they're from, like Dewford Town. We're not going to get to Brawly's backstory when we get to Dewford Town in the Hoenn series. We're not going to get to wherever Kyle's city is. I've never revealed this yet. But we'll get to his story. We're not going to, like, get to his story when, you know, we get to his city. But yeah. But yeah, the reason why Gligar is, we'll reveal it, obviously, one day. But the typing We'll just say the typing for now. Is it Kyle or Kale? So, this is a mess up I have done. I admit, I have messed this up. So, he is based off of one of my best friends in the whole world, Kyle. But, his online usernames for everything is Kale. Like, plant, the vegetable. And that has always been his online persona. You know, all of his socials and everything are always Kale, not Kyle. It's actually a lot of... He calls himself Kale Fresh. And the Fresh is spelled differently. It's like P-H-R-E-S-C-H or something, not like F-R-E-S-H. So, it is Kale. The character is Kale. K-A-L-E. But it is based off of my buddy Kyle. And the problem where I've messed it up is that Kyle and Kale are like... I don't know. I text Kyle almost every day. We talk almost every day. And I'm so used to seeing his name pop up on my phone as Kale. I'm like, oh, Kyle texted. So when I read it on the script, I see Kale, obviously, but I'm reading it as Kyle. Because that's how I've always, done it. I personally have always seen, where the two correlate. So his character is Kale, but I have noticed in some of my recordings, I have slipped and I've said Kyle instead of Kale. And I've even actually typed Kyle on the script on accident too, instead of saying Kale, or typing Kale. So, apologies for that. Just to get that out of the way now. His character is supposed to be Kale, but I just keep fucking it up and saying Kyle. So that is why. But yeah, Kale in this series is going to be... The way this is kind of going is that Hunter and Kale are supposed to be dual protagonists. With Kale more on the research side and Hunter more on the battling side. Gym leader, leagues, whatever side. Unfortunately, though, the way we have Kale written in this first series, his team's a little different. It's not like the many different types, like the huge type diversity of a team that you would normally have on, like, regular teams. So, like Hunter's team, he's got a fire type, a flying type, electric, fighting, not normal, ghost, and a grass type now. So he has many different types across his team. Kyle, I will reveal right now, does not have as much type diversity. He has a bit more of type overlap. Does that mean he's a specialist in a certain type? No. But it's just a kind of change from, everybody else's, look at my Pokemon Kanto team where it's, have all these different types, which, is the best way to go about a team normally, is to have, Why did Hunter get... Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm very glad you asked, to be honest. This is a very good question. I'm going to turn down the music. A little loud in my ears. But, the reason why Hunter has now caught Bulbasaur is, honestly, I'll give you the honest answer right here. I was not the biggest fan of Bulbasaur years ago when I made that first video, when I first made the teams video. Over time, I have come to love the Bulbasaur. Venusaur is okay. It's starting to grow on me, but I love Bulbasaur and Ivysaur. Venusaur is growing on me. I'm playing a couple games, like I'm playing the Pokemon Adventures manga game, Adventures Red Chapter, where obviously he has a Venusaur on his team. And I'm kind of using that to kind of help me, appreciate Venusaur more. So, the reason why Hunter is now called Bulbasaur is to obviously, I like it now a lot more than I did back then, but it's a good way to change it up from just the normal playthrough captures. I don't know. It's kind of weird to explain. And also, I think, I don't know. I was gonna say it's more of a Bulbasaur would be more of a battle Pokemon rather than how Arms Ivysaur is right now, because Arms Ivysaur really doesn't battle unless something Team Rocket related happens, or like the big development with Erica. There's you know, Bulbasaur, or her Ivysaur does not battle much. None of her Pokemon battle. That's not her goal, is to battle much. Like how Hunter. Obviously, you know, experience and development from battling and stuff. But Arm's not the biggest battler. Like, from the series start, she has not been one to battle. So I think having Hunter catch Bulbasaur and have all 3 Kanto starters, obviously Ace's Squirtle, Hunter's Charmander, the Charmander, later on to Charizard, obviously, and then having the Bulbasaur line. When you get to Johto, will you do anything with the Masked Man friend? Good. Let me be 100% honest with you. I'm not going to spoil yes or no. But right now, I just do not know. Right now, the way the Team Rocket arc right now goes in the series is that, yes, it will kind of carry on to Johto. Kind of like how the Gold and Silver, Heart Gold and Silver games are. As like a sequel plot rocket. But, I don't know. The Masked Man, the problem is with how he's portrayed in the manga, and obviously with how Green or Blue, depending. We'll say Green, just because for America translation. How Green, her and Silver were, I forget if they were raised or like kidnapped or whatever from the Masked Man. Aram's backstory doesn't take, you know, there's nothing about the Masked in writing right now. So right now I want to say no, but if we do go that route, it will be, Aram will not correlate. Like, Aram's backstory will not correlate with the Masked Man's backstory, I guess. Why are there Pokemon from different regions in the... Mainly for that is just that so you don't see a cluster of Kanto Pokemon. Like, we have so many Kanto Pokemon also that have cross-regional evolutions, such as, like, how Hayasaka's EV had evolved into Espeon. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a Johto thing that makes it evolve into Espeon. It's just friendship at daytime. You know, so that should obviously be accomplishable in Kanto. So that's why there's that. Zygar and, you know, Hariyama for Brawly and Kale, they come from different regions. So, they were kidnapped by Ho, which caused Green fear of bird Pokemon. Okay, so that's what the story is. Sorry, I really did not read all of the Johto chapters. I appreciate you telling me that, but yeah, right now, Aram's backstory, because obviously Aram is the universal counterpart to Green, or Leaf, or whatever. It just, her backstory doesn't correlate with that. I don't know, we might throw in something for Silver. Silver is going to have more appearance. He's going to be a more major character, kind of like somewhat how he is in the games. But I figured Kanto would be a good way to building up team. Are you going to reveal your dad in this series? Good question. We'll see. We'll see. We'll put a story. There's some personal stuff, unfortunately, that has happened. My dad in the past. So, I don't know. I like to mix my life up to this point with some stories of how Hunter's character is in the series. Just like major life lessons, big backstory things. So I don't know. Yeah, father might come in this. I don't know. Or where Hunter's father is might appear in the story. Or we might just leave it how Ash is and just leave it a mystery for the next. I can't answer that right now. That's a tough one. Oh, why are there Pokemon from different regions in the series? I'll finish up with that. Obviously, you know, they're from different regions. Like, why Kale caught a Wooper in the Kanto Water-type gym? Misty just had one. Why did you change your art in the series? Quality. Quality is the #1 answer. All of the old artworks were just, you know, like, Hunter's character design is from the Ace Trainer art from, or the Cool Trainer art from Pokemon Stadium 2, I think it is. And all I did was put that leaf from Red's hat on the shirt where the Pokeball logo was. And I called it Prospect Kanto. That's it. So, I wanted some originality, and that's why I had Legacy make redesigns for Hunter. KO, obviously, you saw was just a throw-up redesign of Hilbert. And Arm was just, change up a little bit of Leaf or Green. And same for Ace. So that is why the main thing for redesigns is just originality. Have original art styles for everybody. That's pretty much. So the girl with the Espeon, I can't spell her name. Why is she in this series? I'm so glad I get to answer this question. Also, am I too loud? If I'm too loud, please let me know. I am very glad to answer this question. What I am wanting to do with Pokemon Prospect is that I want to have characters from other animes, such as where Hayasuka is from. Hayasuka is actually from the first other anime I watched outside of Pokemon. Because I only got into different animes like 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. And Love is War is where I started getting into different animes. And Hayasuka was a pretty cool character in that series. And what I like to do with some series, or with some new animes that I've been watching, is I'm like, oh, based on like what these cool like powers or stories these characters have, what Pokemon team? And that is what I want to do with Pokemon Prospect. Bring these cool anime characters from different series that I like. Bring them into the Pokemon world and give them a Pokemon team. It is the most fun thing I have done writing this series. It is so awesome. So her name is Hayasuka. A-I, and then Hayasuka's like H-A-Y-A-S-A-K-A? I think that's how you spell it. She's just like a somewhat side character in Love is War. And, yeah. Just crossing over different anime characters. So, like, I've thought about doing it with One Piece characters. Or, maybe even Demon Slayer characters. Different anime, or Baki, or just, I don't know. The problem is that how, like, different these plots are. So it's a little hard to make teams. But, cutting out when you speak sometimes. Okay, that is where my threshold is a problem. Adjust my... So if I make open threshold and then close threshold... How's that? I really hope that's good. I don't know. How do I sound now? Good? Good? Am I good? Am I still cutting out? If I cut out at all anymore, let me know. Better? Awesome. Hell yes. Dude, look at... One thing I cannot do on YouTube, or editing, or anything. I suck at it so bad. I'm slowly getting better after the years I've done YouTube now, is audio. I suck at audio. I suck at the filters. I suck at audio editing. I suck at it. I am, like, music to voiceover audio, I suck at it. At least you're learning. Yes, slowly but surely. It is a very, very large work in progress. I have watched so many videos of different, like, best audio filters and settings for streaming and all this shit. It's everybody does it differently, and that's where the problem is that you can't copy someone perfectly because, everybody has their own audio style of how loud they want to be on stream or how quiet they want to be in videos, and how much background noise they want to have on streams compared to what they want to have in recordings and stuff like that. So that's probably my biggest issue when it comes to audio. It's just, what I want in the background. Like, I have an AC running right now. I don't want that in my mic. I don't want my mic levels going up when I'm not saying anything just because the air conditioner in the background's going off. It's like 85 degrees outside. I don't want the air conditioner. I obviously have to have the air conditioner running, but what do you use for editing, dude? I use the most simple thing. Simple. All of my editing is simple. It is Premiere Rush. on Adobe Creative Cloud. That is all I mainly use. I use a little bit of CapCut. CapCut's more for the like audio subtitle or auto subtitles in YouTube Shorts. Like for the try not to say the same Pokemon as me. That's all I've used CapCut for mostly. CapCut is a really, really good editing software. It simplifies it so much better. Premiere Pro, the problem I've tried using it, and it's just, it throws so much at you at once. Where Premiere Rush is just a simplified, obviously doesn't have like the biggest, it doesn't have as much as Premiere Pro does. But, it simplifies it for, simple learners. And, my channel doesn't require a lot of editing. I could throw more edits in, but I spend enough time, I have enough of a gap in between uploads as it is. I don't need to spend, I'm trying to cut back on editing time and recording time so I can get these out faster. But at the same time, quality might be lower. So it's like, it's a big fight between quality versus quantity. And I don't know. Is Hunter going to have a love interest in this series? Maybe? I don't know. As of right now, no. I think other characters would, but I don't know. I think I've had ideas of Brawly being like the chick magnet gag of the series. I don't know, but I haven't done anything with that. Might do that when Hoenn comes around or something. I don't know. But as of right now, no. Just because the pacing is so fast to where there's not a lot of time to build up a love interest. It's easy, you can just throw it in on top of all the other stuff I have in it. But as of right now, there's nothing in the works for it. I do need to start writing, though, because I have not even started since I've started streaming. I wanted to do this as a multitask of streaming on top of reading chats, but I'm not doing a very good job at it because now I'm just reading chats. And I had my OBS pulled up the whole time. So the way I do my scripts is that I write I just basically jot down notes, every major plot point that's going to happen in the episode, and then it's like a checklist. And then once I have that part of the script fleshed out, just mark it off the checklist, move on to the next plot, and build up from there. So right now I can say that Prospect episode 7 is probably, will you consider evolving Primeape into Annihilate in the series, or is that overdoing it? How do I want to answer this? It's a tough one to answer. I'll just reveal this. No. Primeape is not evolving in Kanto here. Because you'll see what happens with Primeape later on. Primeape... Okay, I'll just reveal this because I think the OG Kanto Teams video kind of obviously, shows it off. He will evolve into Annihilate eventually, but not in Kanto. I think also the power jump from Primeape to Annihilate is so huge that I don't think it would fit good for Kanto. Also, I don't know. Annihilate is such a more modern day Pokemon where this is the original series, you know what I mean? For over 20 years, Primeape was the top, was the end of the evolution line. And that's how I've always just seen my Kanto story is that, oh, okay, it's Primeape. He's done. He's done evolving. He just learns better moves and then he becomes a full-fledged Pokemon. I'm glad he got an evolution, and I've used his evolution in Scarlet and Violet. It's one of my favorite Scarlet and Violet Pokemon, Gen 9 Pokemon, but in Kanto he will not evolve into Annihilate. I think also with the problem of that is that with it being a ghost and fighting type, I think the type overlap between Gengar being a ghost and Annihilate being a ghost, I don't really like that. So I don't know. We'll see. But as of now, no. He is not going to evolve into Annihilate. In Kanto. Alright, let's get to work. Hunter, your boy needs to get to work here. On top of reading chats. So, will there be any movies? I don't want to say movies, but I do want to say, like, specials. Like, I plan to do a Pokemon kind of Chronicles series. I don't know if you guys know what Pokemon Chronicles is. It was like a side series. I don't know if it was in between Johto to Hoenn in the anime, or if it was when Ash was in Hoenn, like just starting out. But I plan to do another, like, when all the other characters kind of split off in the end, you know, when they go to their next travels or whatever. Because obviously they're not all traveling the same region at the same time throughout the whole story. I plan to have, like, a little side series of just, like, little updates of what might happen to these cool characters, you know, after they've left their main story series. Because obviously they're going to come back and, you know, they're going to have changes and everything like that. So I think we'll do, like, a little specials like that. But movies directly, it's kind of hard to go about that because I already have, like, the episodes themselves are so long, you know, and they'll kind of fluctuate. And to go out of my way to make a full-on movie that I would plan to make canon, I feel like it'd be kind of pointless for me to make a movie special, like a full movie, and not have it be canon. I obviously would make it canon, but at the same time, if I'm going to make a movie canon, why don't I just make it a really long episode? So that's where I'm kind of at with movies. But the idea of, like, Chronicles, a side series where it's just Hunter's not there, you know, it's just everything afterwards, you know, from when he was traveling the same region as Hunter. I think that's how we'll go about it, as, like, a specials thing. Yes, it was in between. I like OVs. Yeah, pretty much. Is my AC in the background going off? I didn't say anything, and I'm seeing bumps in my mic audio. Damn it. Hold on. Yeah, but it's not bad. Alright, I'll kind of leave it for now. But in the next part, I'm very excited for the next part. It's going to start to lead to the end game of Kanto. So I think Kanto outset will be probably 10 parts. I think we'll have 10 parts in Kanto. Johto, I would like to keep it a little lower, because so much of Johto's story in the games comes from Kanto, which kind of sucks. It's like Johto is literally Kanto DLC. That's how I see it. Like, you could have, if DLC was a thing at the time back then, obviously they're not throwing DLC on a fucking Game Boy, but if DLC was a thing back then, like how it is now, Johto would have just been DLC, I feel like. Because ain't no way, like, if Johto did not have Kanto, I don't think Johto should have been a game. You know, you got your 8 gym leaders or whatever, but the story is not that long. At least I don't think, compared to other games. My Unova team is Mort the Dewott, Bluey the Riolu, Jet the Pidove, and Big Dog the Growlithe. That sounds like a Black 2 team. Like Pokemon Black and White 2. Oh yeah, well it's gotta be, because Black and White 1 only had Unova Pokemon. You couldn't get any Kanto or any previous gen Pokemon until post-game. And there wasn't even that many. So that's a cool Black and White team start. It sounds like you're in, what's that city? With the Poison type gym leader. I'm wanting to say Anstar City, but that's in, like, Kalos. What is that city? Burbank! Burbank City. Sounds like you're in Burbank City. Especially if you got Pidove, because if you were at the 3rd gym, Pidove would probably be evolved. I know way too much about Pokemon, man. I'm such a nerd, bro. Oh shit, where did I put the... There we go. Let's see. Okay. On to writing now. Now to actually get to, like, what I'm supposed to do today. Group. Oh, for Unova, will you do Black and White 1 story or Black and White 2 story and switch it up? I'll be honest with you. I've been trying to figure out how I want to go about Unova because of that. I don't know. I want both. I want both aspects of the story. But if I'm putting both aspects of the story, I don't think the time gap between the two games would be like, what is it, 2 years? 2 or 3 years? Kind of like how Kanto to Johto is. I think it's 2 years. But I don't know. It's... I don't know. That's going to be a tough one. But I do want aspects of both. Because I want, like, Charon and Roxy as gym leaders in the series. But I also want Charon as the rival of, like, the original Black and White. And, you know, it's such a time jump between those two, you know, occupations, I guess, or roles, that, you know, it's going to be kind of hard to flesh them together. I'll figure something out. You know, I've got ideas, but as of right now, we'll just call it both. Yeah, it's 2 years. That's what I thought. Will you show off Megas earlier, like in Hoenn, for example, instead of waiting until Kalos? That is another one. That is kind of tough. Obviously, Megas and all gimmicks are part of, like, modern-day Pokemon. Or the modern era of Pokemon. So, that's going to be a little rough. I kind of wanted to throw Megas in Kanto. Because, you know, of Let's Go Pikachu. Professor Oak and Blue gave you the Mega Stones and the Mega Ring, whatever. And then you just bought the other Mega Stones at the Pokemon League. I don't know. I want to say no for Kanto, at least. I think I want to slowly flesh them out. Because the problem is, I want to make the anime, or the series here, correlate somewhat with the games. I think I know the first way I'm going to do it, with one other Pokemon. But other than that, I don't think any of the main protagonists get Megas. Because I think that's such a power scale jump that I feel like would be better suited for, you know, when Hunter and all the other characters are way more fleshed out and have a lot more experience under their belt. Obviously, like, Hunter and Ace, and even Arm a little bit, are very, very, like, smart trainers in this series because especially Ace and Hunter, like I said, because they were the top student graduates at Indigo Academy. Hunter and Ace did lots of rental Pokemon battles and stuff like that, so they're not let alone just used to battling, but they're used to battling with Pokemon that weren't even theirs. You know, they just learned their moves on spot and, you know, learned to improvise with battling and learned a lot of battling in school before even becoming Pokemon trainers. So that's why I like how the story of Hunter and Ace will go soon, because right now it makes it seem like Ace is so much better than Hunter. But the problem is that Ace and Hunter have not faced off since the beginning of the series. So, as we get closer and closer to the Pokemon League, it's going to be fleshed out a lot better in this, like, second half, I want to say, of Kanto outset. To where, like, Hunter and Ace are more of equals rather than, like, you know, Ash was so far behind Gary, or Red was, you know, either in the manga losing to Blue all the time, or in the games, Red was always winning against Blue. But Blue was still an asshole. I don't know. I kind of wanted to make it a mix of both. Obviously, you have, like, Blue's insults with, like, the gag of Ace calling Hunter an idiot. But also have it to where Hunter is not an idiot. In the same, you know, Ace just calls him an idiot just to call him an idiot, just to take him down, just to knock him down. But Hunter, you know, he knows Pokemon. He knows, he knows how to train Pokemon and everything. So, last part was a good, like, kind of development thing for him, because, you know, obviously, yeah, he's been good with Pokemon from the start. And, you know, he's learning more and more rather than just learning in school, where he's kind of been, I guess, pampered to battling. But now he's learning it, you know, how to do it all on his own. All the training, everything on his own. So, I don't know. I'm kind of going off on just crazy here. But yeah. I don't know. Ace and Hunter's rivalry, I want to see it as more of equal. And I liked having the plot twist of Kale. See, I just messed up right there. I like the idea of Kale defeating Ace, because it doesn't make Ace seem like he's the most unbeatable guy in Kanto right now. Because he's not, you know? Like, you got Elite Four, you got Champions, you got head Team Rocket guys. You know, there's a lot of bigger fish in the sea, you know? So, I think Kale beating Ace was a good, like, power scale set for him. That he's, like, you know, he's strong, and he's a smart trainer, he knows what he's doing, but so do other people. You know, Kale is a researcher. He's researched Pokemon in Hoenn before even coming to Kanto. You know, he comes to Kanto to learn more just about other Pokemon that are outside of the Hoenn region, so... if you do the Battle Frontier, will it be in Kanto or Hoenn or heck even the Sevi Islands? The Battle Frontier, man. I can tell you right now it's not happening right after Kanto. I don't think it's happening after Johto either. I would like to do it after Hoenn because that's when I first tackled the Battle Frontier personally, in Emerald, but, I don't know. The Battle Frontier... I don't know. I don't know how I want to go about the... Because the problem is now there's so many. You have the Johto or Sinnoh and Johto's Battle Frontier are pretty much the fucking same. And then you have the Hoenn Battle Frontier. And I don't Kanto doesn't really have a Battle Frontier. They have like the Battle Zone or whatever the hell, but it doesn't have like Frontier Brains. But I don't know. The Battle Frontier, obviously those characters and everything and the Battle Frontier idea will come up in the series, but I don't know. I'm debating about whether I do it for Hunter or whether I do it to increase the what's it called? Development of another character. Like, let's say, you know, Hayasaka goes to the fucking Battle Frontier. And when she comes back, she's post-Battle Frontier so much stronger. You know, like, compare Ash to how he was in the beginning of the Battle Frontier to the end of the Battle Frontier. Dude was damn near at his peak. I don't want to say peak, like how he was in Kalos, but like, he was up there. You know, like he was defeating very powerful trainers. He went from losing Pokemon leagues to starting to take down Elite Four power scaling trainers, which is crazy. The first Battle Frontier battle, he defeated his first legendary Pokemon. Crazy. And then followed up to defeat another one at the end. Crazy. You know, like, because legendary Pokemon in the anime are shown to be such, like, untouchable fucking Pokemon that, you know, it's awesome to see Ash, you know, finally starting to close the gap there. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because right now, you know, there's so many characters that will come up, and so many characters right now that I want to flesh out a lot more when it comes to later generations. So, we'll see what happens. But obviously, you know, we got to have your boy, the main character, get his, you know, big wins, his big redemptions or whatever. But I don't know. You'll see. You'll see. I don't want to spoil much. Is the problem. I want to answer these questions the best I can, but I don't want to be like, no spoilers. No. So I don't know. We'll see. Why is there 4 in the main group? That's a good question. I don't think 4 is too many. And I like the idea of 4. Like, I didn't want the series going into this to just be the basic ass, you know, red, or the universal counterpart of red, blue, and green. You know, they're just the traveling companions or whatever. Or, you know, I don't know. Obviously, they didn't actually travel together. They kind of just appeared whenever. But I think changing things up, making things more original, like, you know, having Brawly and Kanto makes no fucking sense, but it's original. You know, I can make it make sense, because there's a little bit of correlation between Brawly and Kanto and, you know, Elite Four Bruno. You know, I can kind of make it make sense, but I think the reason why there's 4 in the group is just so that there's not, like, you know, like how Brock, like the Ash, Misty, and Brock scenario where it's just, oh, Ash, the main character, the trainer, the guy who's going for it all. And then you just have Misty, the one who's honestly fucking there. Let's be honest. Because, oh, she wanted him to repay her for his bike, for her bike. You traveled with him for 2 regions so you get a bike? Crazy. Obviously, I know that's not the case, but, and then, you know, you have Misty, who's like, oh, Ash, you know, I'm a gym leader, you know, I know what I'm doing, also you need to repair me for my bike. And then you have, like, the Brock, the one who takes care of all the Pokemon, the one who's the smart one, the one who's, you know, feeding everybody, the one who's, like, the dad of the fucking group, pretty much. I think having 4 characters in this, where it's like, you know, everybody is going for their own goals, kind of works out a little better than just having 3 people. You know, like having, or like a guy, the main character guy, a side main character female, and a side main character male. I think it works better if you just, like, having just a group of characters that are different, you know, and are not just contributing to the same, I guess, format as how the anime was. Brock for sure overstayed his welcome. I love him and what he did in Sinnoh. But what did he do in Sinnoh? Yeah. I like Brock a lot. I would say he's easily, like, top 5 favorite protagonists. Or traveling companions. About, like, saying what did Brock do in Sinnoh. What the fuck did Brock do in Hoenn, bro? The dude was becoming a water type specialist. Marshtomp? Ludicolo? And then he might as well have fucking caught Corphish for the, you know, cool little, I forget what the fuck they're called. The little, like, shaky things. I forget. The little dance thing he did with Corphish or whatever. You know, like, he might as well have cut Corphish. He damn near was a water specialist in the series. I don't know. Brock, and then in Sinnoh, I like Sinnoh just because he finally contributed to something. Like, he was part of the Lake Trio ideology thing with Azelf and Ash, Mesprit and Dawn, and then Yuxi and Brock, where Brock was the knowledgeable one. So that served finally a little bit more of a role for Brock in that series. But what the fuck did he do in Hoenn? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maracas. That's the word I was looking for. Yes, thank you. Maracas. Sorry. I could not remember for the life of me what those were called. But yeah, maracas. Yeah, there's a little, like... I'm pretty sure there's, like, a little gag where him and Corphish, like, Corphish is, like, shaking his paws, and, you know, Brock's got the maracas, and he's like, that concept even returned in the Japanese version of Aim to be a Pokemon Master. But then they, like, edited it out in the dub because of cultural offenses or something. I don't know, it's kind of dumb of a reason to get rid of it because, you know, he had it in the original English dub, so when they first did it in Hoenn, so why the fuck did they do... I don't know. Yeah, Lucy in the battle, because how old's Lucy? Like, Lucy battle Pike. She's what, like 20 something? What's her age say on here? She's an adult. I'm like 90% sure. I would think all the fucking Battle Frontier characters are adults, except for like a little kid in Sinnoh. I forget what her name is. Yeah, 20 or more. And then what? Brock, anime, age. 15. Dude, bro was trying to get a cougar, bro. Which is insane. Brock did not give a fuck, man. He just wanted a lady. Except for Annabelle. Annabelle seemed pretty young for, like, around Ash's age, maybe, but Lucy sure is an adult. I could have swore Annabelle was more of an adult. Hold on. Annabelle is in her late teens to early 20s. So, if that is true, granted, this is fucking AI overview telling me this. During her appearance as a Frontier Brain in Generation 3 era, it becomes a decade older in her early 20s. When she appears in Sun... Oh, the time... Okay. So she was closer to Ash's age at the Battle Frontier time. It's saying she's in her early 20s in the Sun and Moon's games. That makes sense. Especially with how, like, big of a change her design got. So it makes sense, obviously, she aged a decade. Because so did Red and Blue. They aged, you know, they were like fucking 25 in Sun and Moon or something like that. Maybe a little younger than that, I don't know. Yeah, Ash and Annabelle were definitely closer in age, but fucking Brock and Lucy, man. Brock was trying to get Lucy the fucking allegations, man. I don't know. It's crazy. The ages in Pokemon are just very weird. Like, they don't obviously confirm them, except for, like, Lusamine. You know, and you can assume her age. She's already over 40. She's got 2 kids who are, you know, in, like, the teens range, something like that. You know, obviously that, and then I think Red and Blue were 11 or 12 when they first started their journey. I can't remember. I don't know. Because then the problem is that also they age, you know, they have different ages in the manga and the anime, or, yeah, with Ash in the anime, and the, I don't know. It's so weird because the anime will say, oh, it's been fucking a year since we started traveling together, but Ash is still 10. What? I don't know. Ages are so weird. I will confirm something for my own series, though. Is that the kind of, like, Pokemon trainer thing, like going from the academy to being a Pokemon trainer, it is like how the real world is with going to school and then becoming an adult, or going out and graduating. Graduates of a Pokemon Academy would be 17 or 18, or maybe even 19. So, all of these characters that are Pokemon trainers are in their late teens right now. Maybe even, because I don't know, I'm 21 right now, and I want my character to be, you know, in the 20s when we get to the later generations. And I also just want, like, everybody to be adults. I don't want weird shit. You know, I don't... Like, if I'm writing a love interest in this series, I don't want to be writing a love interest for fucking kids, man. That's weird as fuck. I'm sorry, but it is. I can't... I don't want to be an adult writer writing fucking love plots for kids, man. At the very least, make them, like, 18, 19, something like that. Make it to where they're fucking adults. Not, you know, 10, 13 years old and, you know, they're, you know, having, like, shippings with each other. That's weird, man. That's weird. I don't like it. I don't like that shit. Sorry. Opened a womb. Opened a, just can of worms on that one. That was... Brock being 15, traveling around with a 10-year-old is fun, but in the real world, age dynamic would be weird, because imagine a sophomore being with a 5th grader every day. Right, and being best fucking friends with one. Thank you. I always hated Pokemon shipping with Ash and Pokemon. Yeah, they are kids, man! They're kids! You're not walking around in real life shipping a fucking 10-year-old with a 13-year-old. I don't know, maybe weird fucking parents do that, but, like, it doesn't change the fact that it's not fucking weird. It's weird, man. Just... You know, ship adults, whatever. That's one thing. But, like, kids, but let them be kids. Let them be fucking kids, man. So that's why in this series, actually, it's going to be brought up in the next part. Spoilers. Everybody's going to be confirmed to be adults. Because graduating ages, at the earliest would be 17, but then obviously by the time they get... I think... Okay, how about this? Pretty much we'll just leave it at this. If you want to get your Pokemon trainer's license, you have to be 18. Just like how you have to be 16 to get a driver's license in the United States. But you're not an adult till obviously you're 18. So I think to have a Pokemon... And I think that's kind of the case with, like, real world and pets. You have to be an adult to own a pet. Legally, in your name. And I think that's how it should be. Because you should be a responsible adult if you have fucking pets. And, you know, these people are carrying around 6 pets at once. I think they should be adults, not fucking 10 years old. Sorry. Got onto a rant here, but I've gotten no writing done so far. I'm enjoying the stream, though. I'm having a great time streaming. I was a little nervous getting into it. I was, like, thinking all week, I'm like, man, do I stream? Do I stream? Because I've set up Twitch. I'm not even streaming on Twitch because this is Pokemon Prospect stuff. I want to use Twitch for, like, and YouTube to do whatever the hell I want. Whether it be Pokemon or other games. Like, I have my PlayStation now right next to my monitor, because now I'm hooking up my PS5 to my monitor rather than living room TV. But I don't know. I might not even do that. I don't know, go and... Because we just got a TV for the living room, so I might just move the PlayStation out to the living room. And I don't really... Like, I did Spider-Man 2 when it came out as a stream, and I had a capture card and everything, and no one gave a fuck. Obviously, it was me chilling, just streaming, but, you know, my channel is not wrapped around Spider-Man. I should change the Spider-Man, like, get the Spider-Man logo out of my banner in my channel banner, but, you know, I just haven't. Mainly because I just have so many hours of content there. But, I don't know. With how Spider-Man 2 performed and having no one around to watch it, you know, no one joined to watch it, I don't think... Like, when Spider-Man 3 comes out, or even when the Wolverine game comes out, you know, and I'll play those, I don't think I'm going to stream them on YouTube. I might stream them on Twitch, or maybe do the multi-stream, because I want to do multi-streaming. I think that's the new meta, I guess, for streaming, is that you do multi-platform. I would like to do that if I'm doing, you know, just hang out, play game streams. So, I don't know. We'll see. If I was around, I would have joined. I'm probably a bigger Spider-Man than I am a fan of Pokemon. Oh, I appreciate that. My Spider-Man fandom obviously comes when the hype comes. So, like, Spider-Man 2 came out. All the Spider-Man fans are out the door because, you know, new game, new content. Let's get all this fucking shit out. And, you know, a year later, no one's talking about Spider-Man because there's no new game. There's no new movie or anything like that. You know, now we're getting hyped up because Brand New Day is coming out next year. Hype as shit. The suit and everything looks so good. And now, obviously, my hype for Spider-Man's coming back. But it's like, with Pokemon, it's easier to be a fan of because there's always something. Like, it's a little crazy because we've gone over a year without a game. You know, Scarlet and Violet and the DLC, you know, that was over a year ago now. And it's the first time we've gone a year gap without a mainline Pokemon game. Which is good, don't get me wrong. I'm so glad they took time to flesh out Legend ZA better. But, with Pokemon, you know, you have something every year or 2 years or so. There's always something going on to hype you up. Spider-Man is a lot longer because, you know, it's part of Marvel. And Marvel has so many characters that they gotta go through that they can't just keep, you know, hyping up Spider-Man. And, you know, that's fine. I get it. I understand that. But, you know, that's where it's, like, easier to be a Pokemon fan than a Spider-Man fan because there's always hype around Pokemon. There's always something to click on with Pokemon. Where Spider-Man, it's like, oh, you know, it's been a year or two since the game. You're not going to watch Spider-Man content or Spider-Man 2 content 2 years after the game, 3 years after the game came out. I can't remember. When did Spider-Man 2 come out? I'm just going to look this up. Spider-Man 2 release game. 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago now. No one's talking about it anymore. So that's where, like, and obviously Pokemon's hitting a hype right now. We're getting Legend ZA in 2 months. And then we're getting Pokemon Champions, like, probably less than a year later, I would assume. You know, there's always something for Pokemon. Where Spider-Man doesn't always have that. Which sucks, because Spider-Man's... I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Spider-Man's peak, bro. Spider-Man's awesome. Don't even matter what universe you look at. All the universes are fucking awesome. Like, you got the one with Doc Ock taking over Spider-Man. Like, what is that? Superior Spider-Man? Like, that's so cool, bro. That's all so cool. And it sucks because we don't get full media flesh out for all these different... Like, what the fuck have we heard about for the next Across the Spider-Verse part? Obviously, we know that the Miles Morales actor is a creep, and now he's getting replaced, and that's why it's holding off the movie, which sucks, because we got another creep out there fucking ruining something awesome. But, I don't know, like I said, when did fucking Across the Spider-Verse come out? 2 years ago as well now? Like... 2 years ago now. It's been over 2 years, and we don't have part 2. We don't have a fucking trailer. Insane, bro. Insane. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. The universes are all cool, except for the one where he gets terminally ill from the spider bite. Yeah. Yeah. There's actually a short film kind of about that. I think it's called The Spider. There's a YouTuber that does, like, short films, and he makes them. I'm trying to think here. Where's he at? I think it's called The Spider? The Spider short film. Yeah. Yeah, it's this guy who's like a, he's like a small filmmaker. And he does like he made The Spider. And he does like little short films. Like how you see some of those YouTube short horror films or whatever. That's what this is. It basically makes a horror plot out of Spider-Man. Awesome. That's so cool. But oh shit, the whole film came out. I did not know that. I remember watching the trailer for it. It's a 9-minute film came out. You know, he's not releasing a fucking 2-hour and 3-hour movie about it. It's just, you know, a short film. But it's cool. It's so cool. It's cool seeing like these little smaller studios making such cool ideas that, you know, the mainline studios won't do. Because Marvel could make a horror Spider-Man film so well. Like, they could do it, man. They could make it. Instead of making fucking Madam Web. I fell asleep during that, bro. I was so excited, a Spider-Man spinoff. Sleep, bro. I was asleep. I don't fall asleep during movies unless they're boring. Nah, bro. No. Madam Web, cut it. Cut it. Have you seen Spider-Man Lotus? I'm gonna Control-C on that and Control-V in my search bar. What is this? Spider-Man Lois is a 2023 American superhero fan film based off the Marvel Comics Spider-Man. Yeah. It was produced and directed and co-written by Gavin J. Konop. Film stars Warden Wayne as Peter Parker / Spider-Man. Bro, the cover to this looks like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I fucking love it. Spider-Man Lotus. My only problem, I think... Let me look at this. That spider logo on the front looks weird as hell. I mean, I know you probably had to go with something completely different that Spider-Man themselves would not do. But that thing looks like a damn beetle more than it does a... Or not a beetle, like a massive-ass tick or something. I don't know. Spider logo looks a little weird. Suit's cool, though. Suit's cool. And whoever did the Photoshop for the cover art did an amazing job. Spectacular. But the director and Spider-Man actor aren't the best people. Oh, like they're not the best people morally? Or they're not, like... Well, let's just look this guy up. Gavin K. Konop? And I'd probably have to do my research on these people a lot more to see like what you're talking about with that, but still looks cool. And the fact that it's a non-profit, just filmmaking studio, you love to see it because you know that they're just doing it for the love of the game. You know, they're doing it for the love of Spider-Man. And like this guy, Locust Garden, the one who made the Spider film, a horror film. The gateway drug horror film. Like, Awesome. Fiona, a Shrek horror film. I haven't watched it, but it looks, the idea of it looks awesome. DreamWorks would never do it, but it's cool. You know, like the only reason we made Winnie the Pooh a horror movie was because the open rights for it were sold to someone who wanted to make it a fucking horror movie. Like, cool. That's, the movie was dumb, but it's like you would never expect, you wouldn't have told me, you know, 5-10 years ago that fucking Winnie the Pooh was going to become a horror movie. I wouldn't have believed you. But it happened. It's crazy to think about. I'd say check it out. It looks really high quality. I can tell by the cover it's really high quality. Like, you know, they took their time on this, which is something I love to see. Love to see people taking the time on projects and, you know, making them good. And honestly, it's going to be an argument till the end of time, but that fan art or fan made stuff ends up becoming better than fucking actual like non-parody media for it. I said that so stupid. I apologize. Like how fan films honestly portray the character that they're basing off of from another big media, obviously like Spider-Man. It's crazy that sometimes they do it better than the makers of Spider-Man themselves, which is insane. It obviously, I think it's a little easier because, you know, they're making a whole new story for one, but also they're closer to the fan base than I think the actual media company is. You know, they are there for fan service. And, you know, Spider-Man No Way Home had a lot of fan service. I mean, you could say that is like one of the biggest fan service movies that came out in a long time. Because you took 3 generations of fans and brought them together. Huge. Huge. And I know we've seen, like, Power Rangers do that. I remember there was like a film of all the old Power Ranger actors coming back or something, or like all the other universe Power Rangers coming back and stuff. Cool, but I don't know. Whatever this music is, it is awesome. I'm gonna turn my fan down to low. No, not high, not high. Low. Got the little remote for it. Okay, back to writing. I need to actually get stuff done. I honestly prefer the original concept of No Way Home, where it was more grounded and Kraven would hunt him down. Wait, the original idea for No Way Home was that Peter Parker was supposed to be hunted by Kraven, like how he was in Spider-Man 2? Is that true? No way. Is that true? I did not know that. That does explain why they made a Kraven series or movie or whatever after Kraven, the Hunter, the movie. That's what it was. 2024 movie. Which I don't know. Was that a good movie? I didn't watch it. I did not watch Kraven the Hunter. It looks cool. Oh yeah, why did Kraven the Hunter flop? People also ask. In addition to the dreadful dialogue, the actors' deliveries were uninspired and unenthusiastic. Worst of all, with a movie with such a big budget, there was an embarrassing scene in which the characters' audible words didn't match their mouth movements. What? No way. It was that bad. Dude, was it really that bad? 15% on Rotten Tomatoes? Are you fucking serious? That bad? Put your brain in park and Craven can be fun. As exciting as the board meeting from which it surely sprang. Don't believe the bad buzz. This comic adaptation is a goofy delight. Craven the Hunter dangles a few intriguing ideas, throws in a half-baked premise, and fumbles nearly everything, from the script to the visuals to the dialogue. After years of planning, delays, and reshoots, it's hard to find much positive to take away from this movie, and it's unfortunate to see Aaron Taylor Johnson be let down by Marvel yet again. Audience reviews. I enjoyed the movie, but this one could have definitely been a lot better. Such an anticipated release, however, certain parts of the plot simply did not make sense. I doubt it will be a sequel. Oh, if the first movie performed this bad, there's not a sequel. You're not getting it. You're not getting a sequel if you make a movie that bad. Does not happen. You need to have good box office numbers. You need to have good reviews on these big major film critics. Like, if you don't have those, you're not making a sequel. And if you make a sequel, you are probably losing money. Because ain't no one watching that shit. Except for, like, die-hard fans. Which is crazy. Crazy, man. Crazy. Oh, actually, you know what? While I'm at it, I'll go ahead. Let's jump back into, I don't think a mutated version of Rhino? That's insane. Let me look at Rhino. I'll look at Rhino from, the movie, and then we'll get back to the Pokemon subject. What the fuck is that, bro? That is not Rhino. Rhino is supposed to be like a fucking cyborg. Not a mutant monster. This looks fucking dumb. Was there ever any Rhino mutant comic? Was there a comic of this, bro? Okay, it looks like there's a bunch of them as him as a mutant. But dude, you made that look like shit. It looks like, okay, you can make him a mutant, that's one thing, but you can't make it look like shit, man. That's bad looks, bro. Bad looks. I'm trying to get some Heart Gold and Soul Silver music on here. Anyways, let's jump back into Pokemon topics here. I'll show you the ace look, the ace reveal here. I want to pull them up on like. How would I stream it as a window here to show them off? Let's go to the full screen one here. Let's make another tab. And let me go. Do this. me adjust this. Shit. I'll put that under this. No, dick. Get back there. Sorry, I'm trying to move everything around here. Oh, it's locked, that's why. Okay. So here is... Let me minimize this a little bit. So we can get a full look here. There we go. It's a little off. So here we go. Here is the new Ace look here. Pull up YouTube shots again. That outfit looks so perfect for him. Thank you. So, as you can see, we have the blue polo. We changed the, or blue, like, dress shirt. I don't know. It's kind of long sleeve for a polo. You know, like, I have a polo on that's short sleeve. But we got his blue shirt. We got a nice tan going. He's got his sunglasses from, Games did he have sunglasses? Was it Sun and Moon? He had sunglasses. He's had sunglasses in a couple portrayals of him, I believe. And then, you know, we got the confident, like, Gary look to him. But then the shoes. The shoes are something I want to touch upon. See that detail in them shoes there? You see, like, the little, like, brown pattern in the back of what would be his left shoe? Ain't that sick? Yep, Sun and Moon. Yep, I thought so. This, I love this. Like, I was talking with Legacy about this and how, like, I wanted to do it. And I think the final product here, 10 out of 10, bro. Like, awesome. Fucking awesome. I love it. I love it so much. You've got all... Because what I wanted Ace to be was... I like the name Ace, but also, like, for a rival. But, I wanted Ace to obviously look a little original as a blue Gary counterpart, but also obviously make sure to still have his looks, you know, like the same kind of looks, but obviously not be a ripoff of Blue and Gary or whatever. So that's why we wanted to change the shoes up, change up his outfit a little bit, you know, give him some, make sure the hair was kind of the same, because I didn't want to change his hair entirely and everything like that, because I already kind of did that with Arm. You know, her hairstyle is a little different because her hat is different and everything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I love this look for Ace. I think it looks awesome. And, yeah. That is going to be his new design moving forward. Very excited. So now, let us go back and I will go ahead and do this. See you there, and boom. There we go. There's so many times here that I've been like about to read my script out loud because I kind of like review it